I think I found a hidden camera in my friend's bathroom. I'm staying at my friend's house for the weekend to spend time with him while he's back from college. He currently lives with his family, mom, dad, and younger sister. While I was using the bathroom, I looked over to the right and noticed a black square adapter plugged into the wall facing me directly. I looked closer and noticed a black hole in the middle, kind of looking like a camera. I don't know if it's exactly a camera or just a small hidden LED light to show if something is charging. I then noticed it was connected to a cord, leading it to what looks like a white charging block, but I honestly don't know what it could be, lol. If it's a camera, it definitely caught me staring at it and taking photos, so I'm a bit nervous. Plus, I'm female. It's scary to think someone could be recording me and could be posting it online for some money. I know he's not the type of person to stalk on somebody, but also he hasn't even been home for that long, so I think it might be his father's. I want to bring it up and ask about it, but I want to make sure that I'm not overreacting. I'm currently still here at his house and waiting for my roommate to pick me up to take me home. I currently don't have a car. If I did, I'd be gone by now. But she's aware of the situation and is just as interested as me and scared. I do have one issue. When I woke up to use the bathroom, I passed by the father's mother's room, and noticed what looks like a frantically thrown around room with cords all over the bed. I may just be overlooking, and this could be someone looking for their charger, but again, I felt like it was important to say this. The back of the adapter had a weird set of numbers with Power Adapter Model S3 on top of it. When I put those words onto Google, it did come up recommended search for camera. So again, I don't know if I'm just overlooking everything simply because I'm paranoid. Another misunderstanding? It was in the bathroom facing directly to the side of me, but did show the whole shower. Meaning if this is a camera, it's been recording people taking showers, not just taking shits. Some back info on the family. My friend that I've known for a very long time is fully gay. And there's mostly women in this house all of the time when my friend isn't here in college. Unless he's snooping on his father, but I really doubt it. But I honestly think it's more likely the father. He does give me weird vibes. And as for the younger sister, I think she's 15. So if this is a camera, I will be infuriated. Yes, because I was recorded, but the moment I see others were, especially the younger sister, I won't be able to shut my mouth when it comes to confrontation. And yes, the family knew ahead of time I was visiting. I don't have an Android phone, but my mom does, so I'll probably use hers, lol, and see if I can detect the camera. Lastly, when I took the adapter, I also took the cords connected to it and the white block connected to the cord. I finally left. And guys, it's a camera. I took off the sticker on the back of the adapter, and there's an SD card. When I popped out the SD card, there's a word written on it. It's a 32 GB as well. I'm freaked out. So, yes, we found proof of it being a camera and saw the footage on the camera with an SD reader you plug into your phone. I told my friend, and he decided to tell his mother to ask on what to do, and she was completely distraught. She immediately contacted a friend who happens to be a lawyer for some advice, and she advised we take it to the authorities, and we are planning to. While browsing the footage, we noticed it wasn't anything too revealing. And yes, I know it's still illegal to record anyone without their permission or knowledge, but it still helped us to deal with everything a bit better. My friend decided to confront his father about it, but he admits a friend from his job loaned it to him a year ago, but quickly quit the company after suing the company after an injury and fleeing the country after receiving his money. Now we're currently trying to find proof that this exchange ever happened, and it could actually be this man knowingly gave an older man with a younger daughter and a son a hidden camera to capture them and maybe sell them online. Now as for what's on the card was over 70 videos, different amounts of footage and folders. Only one folder had the videos, but there was a WhatsApp folder that was empty, which was weird. A lot of it was black, just showing the candle burning all day, but it did capture people using the bathroom. I try to keep updating it as I go, but it's a lot to uncover for me. I'm still in denial about this, so I'm just going on my own pace as well as my friend's family. My friend said his dad was really upset once he was told his daughter, wife, and son was possible recorded. So I don't know. Take that as you will.
So my brand new water heater broke down from all the calcium and things in the water, and so we rented a hotel room so we could all get a shower. My hubby and teenage daughters had gone first. While they took their shower, I had already been looking for cameras after shows and articles depicting warnings to check had me freaked out. My husband had laughed at me, so I thought we were safe. It wasn't until I was actually standing inside the shower that I saw the camera. You had to see it from a certain angle wrapped around the light that had a cover over the bottom of it, but an opening all the way around the edges in the middle. I looked up and there it was. I screamed and my hubby came running in. I told him where it was and he checked, and sure enough, he took the bottom cover off and the camera fell down and was actually wired to the light and set to sit and point looking down into the shower. My husband ripped it out and marched straight to the office, and from there a fight ensued. The creepy guy got pissed my husband was destroying his room, and the owner called the cops. Well, my hubby is a hothead when he's on a moral mission and grabbed the guy up by the scruff of his collar. His mentality being, if I'm going to jail, I'm going to make it worth it. But the guy's wife came out, and by then I was dressed and there for backup, and she wanted to know what was happening. So I told her what happened. She said, "Wait right here." She had grabbed a knife from her room and was chasing the owner guy around with it when the cops showed up. The cops asked us what happened first. When we told them, they took the owner in and apparently found hundreds of videos in a private nook in his bedroom they're using to build a case on him with. So beware to check everywhere before ever undressing in a hotel. I started working at a law firm about 2 weeks ago. Big, nice building in the downtown Dallas metro with lots of clients that I think anyone would die for. Honestly, I felt lucky to get the job. I'm just a paralegal, and I also had a few things on my resume that I am ashamed about. But one of the associates is a good friend of mine named Tony. "Ashley, it doesn't matter what you did in the past. You're here now. Clean slate. Just enjoy the ride," he said. I had a sneaking suspicion he was also flirting with me because he followed me on social media and knew that I had just broken things off with my longtime boyfriend. I wasn't going to say no to the attention because, honestly, Tony was a good-looking guy. As the first few weeks went by, I got into the swing of things. My job was mostly to handle paperwork and digitize a lot of older cases that the firm had handled back in the 80s. I've always been a history buff, so it kinda intrigued me to learn about the processes that they had gone through and how things had changed. One day, a coworker leaned over my cubicle wall to ask for a stapler and saw that I had a file open from 1986. "Hey, new girl, what are you doing?" she asked. "Oh, I'm just reviewing this case file. It was a pro bono from..." But before I could get 2 more words out, she shook her head and warned me. "You aren't supposed to do that. Just copy them to the database and then shred." "I mean, I have to read it when I put it on the computer," I argued. "No, you're not. You're supposed to scan everything and let the computers handle the rest. Look, I know you're new here, but we have a few high-profile clients that want their privacy, meaning lowly peons like us could lose our jobs if we are caught snooping," she warned. I was taken aback by her aggressive response, but thanked her for the warning anyway. And I also suddenly felt guilty about the files that I had been reading, even though moments before I hadn't thought much of it. I closed the documents up and shoved them to the side, trying to focus on my job that day and also push aside any worry. That didn't work because later that day, my boss asked me to find a physical copy of a case file that apparently I had already shredded. "I don't seem to have a digital copy anywhere," I said when I pulled up my daily log. Surprisingly, while I had been away from my computer, I noticed that I hadn't been logged off, and I wondered if someone had tampered with it during my absence. "Well, you better figure out where it disappeared to. That was an important file," my boss warned me. I was utterly confused. Like I said, the majority of my work was dealing with stuff that was decades old. Why would it even matter? I decided to try and do a little digital digging that evening and stayed overtime even when everyone else went home for the night. Sitting there at the computer with only a few dim lights to guide me, it felt frightening to realize that my job was on the line for something so mundane. But it became a different kind of fear when I scrubbed the hard drive in search of the file. As the computer rebooted, I realized I had admin access, which initially I thought would help me. Instead, I discovered I was looking at files that I had never seen before. Most of them had very simple labels like Camera 1 or Lobby 3. Curiosity got the better of me, and I clicked on one of them, pulling up a video feed of one of the elevators from the previous day. I suddenly realized that I was apparently watching security footage from the building. As I searched the other files, I also found that there were cameras in almost every cubicle, including my own. They've been spying on us, I realized as I shut the whole thing down and stood up. Suddenly, I didn't feel safe there anymore, and I left immediately. The next morning, I went to the upper executives and asked for a private meeting with one of the security supervisors. I wasn't sure what my findings meant, but I felt I needed to report it. "Ashley, you've been here a few weeks, is that right?" the man asked as he closed the door and offered me some tea. "No thank you, sir, and yeah, about a month. I'm a data analyst," I told him. "Well, I assume you're here because of what you found last night on your computer," he asked. Suddenly, the air was sucked out of the room, and I felt the need to try and gasp for breath. "I'm sorry, you know about that?" I asked. "When you joined this firm, you signed a contract that allowed us to do this type of monitoring, Ashley. So yes, we know about that and about the other issues that you've been having with work lately." I was flustered, confused that any legal paperwork I had signed could be such a direct violation of my privacy. "I'm a little concerned. What exactly are the cameras for?" I asked. "We view it as an insurance policy. Keeps everyone safe," the security exec told me. With the wind knocked out of me, I excused myself and nervously returned to my floor. I thought about walking out, but I knew that I needed this job. I tried to convince myself the hidden cameras were safe and not evasive, but I also realized I was likely one of the few people besides the board of directors that knew they existed. I decided to do something drastic and stupid, but I knew it would get me results. Grabbing some coffee, I pretended to spill it on the computer. Naturally, they gave me a new one and disposed of the old model. That night, once again I stayed overnight, but I wasn't there for work. I went to retrieve the damaged computer and took it home. I knew enough about hardware I could salvage it, and once I did, from the safety of my home, I began to see what else they were spying on. "Well, Ashley, no going back now," I said as I went through the files. Again, the majority of them were security feed or audio recordings. I was beginning to think that most of it might be routine procedure for a firm this big, even if they were keeping it a secret. Then I found a folder with an odd name, Do Not Disturb. With a name like that, I simply had to click on the first video. It looked like a video of a man standing on a roof with a woman. They appeared to be in an argument. Before I knew what was happening, the man pushed the woman off the roof. The next video showed someone actually making out in a break room. I realized it was one of the CEOs that was on our building's front door. The other files were the same, more and more blackmail. But who was behind this? I wasn't that tech smart to figure it out, but it didn't fit with what the security supervisor had told me. Why would they be blackmailing their own executives? Suddenly, in the dead of night, my phone rang. I hesitated to pick it up because I didn't recognize the number, but eventually I did. "Who is this?" I asked. "You've stumbled into something you shouldn't have, Ashley," a voice said. I realized it was a supervisor and my neck hair immediately stood on edge. "Wait, are you watching me right now?" I asked as I tried not to hyperventilate. "We have a bit of a more pressing issue here, and that's the fact that you have seen too much. They'll be coming for you now, so you have one choice. Destroy that laptop and run. Not exactly a clean exit, but they might not follow you if you get rid of what you saw." "Why are you telling me this? What is this?" I asked frantically. "Like I said, it's insurance, but it's more than that. Corruption runs deep with people that have deep pockets. They control everything, including how judges swing on certain cases. What you saw is just a glimpse of how the world works. I think I have a different option. Turn this over to the police. You do that, and you'll be looking over your shoulder for the rest of your life. Don't be stupid. Don't be a hero for people that owe you nothing. These rich pricks are not going to be thanking you for bailing them out. What we do, by taking control away from them, it's justice. I hung up and stared at the screen. I didn't like the idea of being watched for the rest of my life, so I chose a different option. I left behind a message that warned if I was followed, the data would leak to the best media outlets. Their little secret would get out the moment I go missing. In other words, now I was the one in control of this card. I moved on since then, got away from that life, and started a small firm in East Texas. I don't think I'm ever going to feel completely secure though, because from time to time, I will get an email from Tony. I know you left, but it was on good terms. The firm has been watching your growth out east and wants you back. There's always an opening for you. I delete every message I get, but it's a reminder that they are watching and making sure I keep their secret.